Here we are, end of January. You haven't seen that change yet. You haven't seen what you wanted to see yet. You have to continue to believe that it's possible. You can change. Well, here we are getting to the end of January already here in 2020. And now, I don't know if you're anything like me, but sometimes you can start with so much enthusiasm and excitement, but then when things don't really go your way, I mean, you came in with some high hopes and you came in with some big dreams and you came in knowing that you were going to be able to change some things fast. And here we are now, end of January, and things haven't changed the way that you really want them to change yet. Okay, this is what I'm going to talk to you about today. How do we change? Look, change is hard. Let's just say that right up front. Change is hard. When you are changing your mindset, when you're changing your attitude, when you're changing your behaviors, routines, whenever you're changing things in your life, what you eat, what you listen to, where you go, when you go there, man, these are all difficult things to change. So if you haven't been able to change what you set out to change so far, don't lose heart. Don't give up right now. Let me just talk to you about how do you change. Number one is this. You've got to believe. You have to believe that change is possible. Here we are, end of January. You haven't seen that change yet. You haven't seen what you wanted to see yet. You have to continue to believe that it's possible. You can change. Things can get better. New habits can be developed. You have to believe. There is no substitute for belief. The moment that you don't believe it can't happen, it's the moment that it's not going to happen. You have to believe that it can happen. You have to believe that it is possible, and you have to believe that you can experience it. So when I talk about belief, I'm talking about two things. I can and I will. You have to believe I can change, and you have to believe I will change. I will see it in my life. Now, whenever we begin to believe, that's really good, and we start to believe. Now, here's the second thing as we move into change. The second thing is you got to bump and build. You got to bump and build. You say, what are you talking about? I'm talking about you got to bump the negative out, and you got to build the positive up. You got to bump the old out and you got to build the new in. You got to bump and build. You got to do these things simultaneously. It's not enough just to build. If you build new habits on top of old habits, it's not going to work. If you build positivity on top of negativity, it's going to collapse. It's not going to work. So what do you got to do? You got to bump out the old and build with the new. Now, this is a process. You got to bump out some old thoughts. Now, when thoughts have been in your mindset, in your mentality for a really long time, it is hard to get those thoughts to change. But here's what I have to constantly do. Every time that thought comes in my mind, I've got to bump it out, but don't just get there where I bump it out. I've got to replace it with something else. I bump and I build. I bump and I build when it comes to behaviors that I don't like in my life. I've got to bump out what I don't like and I've got to build. Now think about this word build. It doesn't just fall into my life because I want it into my life. Change doesn't just come to me because I just prayed, I hoped, I wish, and all of a sudden, whoo, I just woke up one day and I was changed. No, I have to build. Think about how you build the house. If you've ever built a new house, if you've ever seen a new building being built, how long that process takes from clearing out the ground, laying that foundation, setting up the structure. It takes time to build. So don't get frustrated with the process. Understand it's going to take time. And as you continue to bump out the bad, you'll continue to build with the good. Now, as we begin to go through that process, we're bumping, we're building, it takes us to the last thing, and that is change always needs a boost. You always got to have a boost at the end. So I'm bumping and I'm building, but I need a boost. I need a shot of adrenaline. I need some motivation. I need some inspiration. I need some new things in my life. And that's where you're going to get your boost from. You say, well, where do I get that boost from? I get that boost from having positive inroads into my life. People who are speaking positive things, people who are helping me on the journey, people are helping me endure and persevere. I've got to have those things that are causing me to experience increase and advance in my life. I've got to have the boost. The build is tough, but I need that boost. It's like an injection into my day. It's like an injection into my week. And this is what people always say, man, whenever I come to church, man, my week's just better. Why is it like that? It just come to church and everything gets better. Why? Because church is a boost. It's a boost. It's something that you do that helps to push you forward. As I'm working hard to bump and build, I need that boost. I need that boost in a small group. I need that boost through relationship. I need that boost in listening to positive things. And I'm not just listening to music. I'm not just listening to these things. I've got a positive boost. I'm getting some positive influence. I'm getting some positive coaching and teaching. I'm watching Coach's Corner. I'm doing these things right now. Why? Because this is a boost, and everyone needs a boost if we are going to effectively change. So if you're going to change, it doesn't matter. Hey, maybe you just took January off. You're like, forget January. And here you are at the end of January, and you're like, man, I really need to do something for 2020. This is a new decade. I haven't done anything. Believe, bump and build, experience that boost. These are 3 things that you got to do if you want to see change in your life. And I believe that you can experience the change this year, and that change can change you into being the person that you really want to be and the person that God created you to be. Come on, let's make 2020 the greatest year yet.